Greetings. It's the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, particularly here in Arizona. And the sheriff of my county just announced that he will not arrest me. He will not arrest me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I've always wanted to talk to the pillow guy. You know, Mike Lindell. In fact, I've tried to encourage people to get him to be on our program. I would even rename a program after him, and I would call it Pillow Talk. I wonder if I could get away with that. I think he'd be a great podcast person. And what he just did in the naming of his book, and what we're all about right now as we start up, are things that we need to know, things that you and I need to be aware of, and some courage that we need to take advantage of. Cowboy Courage, Spirit Force, and Startup Time. I'm Stan Houston. That's the program. Let's go. And once again, I thank you for taking a little time on a Wednesday evening, perhaps flowing into Thursday, to get hopefully some little wisdom, insight, and truth from me and from others, and hopefully maybe a touch of wit, something to smile, something that will make you laugh, something that will be helpful in some dreary times as we are going through this COVID crisis. And it's going to continue for a while, but in the meantime, we are not sitting down anymore. We are starting up. We are taking the risk of going back to work, and perhaps getting closer to what we used to call normal. Well, that's why we call this You, the Master Entrepreneur, and this is for you. It's the new realities of life, business, and leadership in the recovery and in the renewal of post-COVID-19. And that was my double title. Yes, my sheriff did not arrest me, or at least he said he wouldn't arrest me, at least for doing what he said he wouldn't arrest me for. And then I was fascinated by the subject of the Pillow Talk Man. Now let's put those two stories together, because one just happened about an hour ago as I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon for you. Our sheriff here in Pinal County, which is the county just south of Maricopa, where the big Phoenix is, and it's just north of where Tucson and Pima County are. Pima County, you've heard of Pima Cotton? Well, that's the arena, that's the area where it came from. And in between Tucson and Phoenix and Pima County and Maricopa is this little county called Pinal County. And that's where I live. And Sheriff Lamb is a gentleman who really is an old-fashioned gentleman cowboy sheriff. I mean, that's what he is. He's the sheriff, and he looks like a cowboy because he is a real, honest-to-goodness cowboy sheriff. And it's obviously true that in the land of Pinal County, there is a whole lot of land that is truly unincorporated. And that's even where I live. There are no police where I live. We don't have any police. If we need help, we call the sheriff. And Sheriff Lamb is the man who gives leadership to that wonderful task force of deputies. And, they're just good people. And I remember on Thanksgiving, just the day before Thanksgiving, I try and do my thank yous. I went into the little sheriff substation here, and the gentleman came up and said, "What can I do for you?" And I just simply said, "I'm glad you're here. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that here in the kind of Wild West, and it can be dangerous at times, and some dangerous things can happen. And there are people who lose their way and need rescuing in the deep and dark desert arena area sometimes. But we are protected, and we are often rescued by the fine men and women of the Pinal County Sheriff. What he announced, and it was broadcast worldwide, is that he disagrees with his good friend, Governor Ducey here in Arizona. And he, even though he will educate people and try and guide people, in the still shutdown, phasing in, but still shutdown, he will not arrest. He will not arrest anyone for going outside their home, for violating the stay-at-home order. He's just not going to allow that. And he said, I've got more important things to do. The fact that people have been shut down. And he said, actually, I've had to deal with a lot more, disturbances. You name it. All of the things that have gotten people riled up. He said, I'm really busy dealing with all the things that have come out of the shutdown that are rather antisocial and sometimes even dangerous and criminal behavior. And I am certainly going to go around and arrest people who are merely walking out in the beautiful sunshine who are outside their home. Nothing personal, he said. We just disagree with the sheriff. Well, I simply have to say I'm being very careful. I'm doing all of the right things. However, there are times when I want to go out and walk my dog, or I want to enjoy the sunshine, and there are errands that have to be run. And so I'm primarily in my studio home. However, I do go out, and now the sheriff has announced that he will not arrest me. And that's a good sign, because things are meant to come back. And so I share that little good story of a good sheriff and good courage. The Cowboy Sheriff of Pinal County, Sheriff Lamb. Look him up. You'll probably see him on television, and we are very proud of him. Good man, good sheriff, a Christian gentleman. And he said this, too. He said, unfortunately, a lot of the people who are making the rules, they get a paycheck every 2 weeks. He said a lot of the people in the county, they're independent contractors, they're independent workers, they own lots of small businesses, and if they don't get to go to work, they don't get any money. And they're desperate. They have to get back to work, and we have to get back to work, and we're going to do everything we can to protect them and make that possible and encourage getting back. So a salute to the Pinal County Sheriff who will not arrest me, and I hope I won't ever deserve anything to be arrested for. That's just kind of my note for Wednesday. It's a note of encouragement. As he said, some people are going to disagree with me, and some people are going to agree with me, but that's the risk we take. That four-letter word for life. Risk. That's right. And that's what our next little segue event will be about. You are in tune to You, the Master Entrepreneur, a program just for you to help you with the new realities of life, business, and leadership in the recovery and renewal of post-COVID-19. My name is Stan Houston. What It Takes Radio is the master station that we do our work with, and we're grateful for that opportunity because we can also do this for you. In fact, we are now on a regular basis helping companies who realize that they need to have a better audio and video and radio presence, particularly not just for the shutdown, but for the incredibly long-awaited startup opportunities, and we can help you. So reach out to me. Why don't you try this one? RadioEdge77@gmail.com. RadioEdge77@gmail.com. And I'll get your notice, I'll get your news, and I'll get in touch with you because we can help get you on the radio. We can help put together a broadcast system for your business. And we're going to do a special program. And it's going to be kind of catty or catty. It's going to say this: I'm sorry, but your Zoom program zucks. Your Zoom program zucks. And what we're creatively, hopefully, going to help people understand that most of the way people do a Zoom program, they violate all of the rules necessary for using the radio and video and audio media to make it work. And that's why they're so boring and oftentimes so dumb. And so we're going to teach you and your business people and your colleagues and your team how to have a Zoom conference, a Zoom program that does not zuck. That'll be fun. Again, we'll be back on The Pillow Man. I'm Stan Houston. Best and blessings. Please come back. And perhaps you did. Hey, a couple things are coming together for me, and I just wanted to point them out for you, perhaps. First of all, I've said to a number of my colleagues, particularly since I have a number of friends and clients and colleagues back in Minnesota, which is the home of Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, the pillow guy. Yeah, the pillow. And obviously advertised, it seems, all around the media and maybe even all around the world. Goes and grows. Mike has been very, very clear, not only about his entrepreneurial issues, but he's also been very clear about his Christian faith, which has rescued him from a life of really doing junk. He will say, I should be dead, but I'm alive. And I'm alive in the faith of Jesus Christ. So he's really open about that. Some people like it. Some people don't. He doesn't care because he is faithful and true to himself. Now, one of the reasons I was going to try and talk to him is I wanted him to do a podcast. And, of course, being a little bit of a cutie, I thought, hey, the name for the program should be Pillow Talk. A little corny, maybe too corny. Well, I haven't been able to quite get the connections to him to see if he would do a program called Pillow Talk, but I'm going to keep working on it, and he would be glad that I would keep working on it. Here's the point. His story, his book, which he's now selling, in fact, he's selling more of his book than he is of his pillows and mattresses. The subtitle is called Against the Odds. Against the Odds. Two things. First of all, I'm also starting a new program for a group of dude ranches and their associated members, and it's called Cowboy Up. Cowboy Up. And part of Cowboy Up is to demonstrate Cowboy Courage. And in fact, our first program, which we're producing this week, with a well-known cowboy here in Arizona. His name is Alan Day, and he actually had a rather distinguished sister named Sandra Day, known by her judicial and her Supreme Court name as Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Right, the same family. And Alan is a real cowboy. From the age of 4, and he's a long ways past 4 now, raised as a real cowboy. And the name of the program will be First, You Need a Real Cowboy. First, you need a real cowboy. And that's going to be a theme that we're going to carry through. Cowboy Courage. First, you need a real cowboy. And here's the deal. cowboys would do things in which the odds were against them. Oftentimes we talk about, doing the work and then checking the risk. Well, what was true of the early cowboy was, sure, they were careful. Sure, they were in danger. It was a very dangerous line of work, and it was a dirty line of work, and it was a hard line of work. And, And what distinguished a person who was a real cowboy is that oftentimes they would say, the odds are against me, but they'll do it anyhow. They will try, as Mike Lindell would say, to beat the odds. And I just want to let that sit on your head for a while. Essentially, God is calling us to check the odds, check the data, sure. But the data and the science and the models will tell you, don't do this. But perhaps you have to go against the odds. You have to try and beat the odds. You enter into an adventure or into an enterprise or into something that you feel God has called you to, or it seems the marketplace has an opportunity for you, and you do all the due diligence, and the ring comes up. No, the odds for that aren't very good. And it's the cowboy, it's the entrepreneur, it's oftentimes the man or woman of great faith who says, the odds are against me, but God is for me. Let's roll. I'm going to just let that sit on your head and heart for a while. Is there something that right now, it's dangerous, and the odds of you doing something that will be successful, you've done the work on it, the odds are against you. It doesn't look that good. But could it be that from time to time, all of us have to look at the odds and say, let's go. Let's roll. Let's see if we, with God's grace and God's creative power, if we can indeed beat the odds. And thank you for giving me a bit of your time on this Tuesday evening, flowing into Wednesday. Think about the sheriff and say a little prayer for Sheriff Lamb, because he protects us and all of those men and women who are protecting and caring for us through this crisis. God bless them all, every one of them. Protect them, protect their families, protect those who are seeking to protect us and to get us out of this blasted pestilence. Lord, deliver us from this pestilence. As one of my friends said, dear God, kill the virus. Let's go with that kind of attitude and that kind of spirit. By the way, if you'd like some help as you are seeking your way into how you might beat the odds and the things that you might want to do in your recovery, in your re-entrepreneuring, in your new way of doing business, we're very confident that in ways we can help you. If we can't, we know people who can. And if nothing else, we can listen to you and help you think out loud, and then we can say a prayer of wisdom, insight, and truth just for you. And maybe even to heal our land. We need to do that together. Pray for the healing of our land. Again, I'm Stan Houston. This is The Master Entrepreneur. Please reach out to me at radioedge77@gmail.com. radioedge77@gmail.com. Be aware. Be careful. But most importantly, be ready to beat the odds. Best and blessings as you do, and bye for now.